everyone, my name is Tori, this is Nova Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really fun romance recommendations video, and that is revenge plot romances. So I've read a couple lately and I thought, I really do like this. It gives the enemies to lovers aspect like a whole new level, do you know what I mean? When you have these two people, or one of the people that is trying to get revenge for something that previously happened. Now, this video is a collab with McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay, so make sure you go check out her video. I'll have her video and her channel linked in the description box below. So she's going to be also giving you some romance recommendations with revenge plot in them. So make sure you go check out her video, give her some love. And with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the first one. Now, this one is a recent release, and that is Trust Me by Tiffany Patterson. So Trust Me has a lot of different tropes in it. So it's kind of confusing. It's a very long book, but it is well worth the read. I loved it. You see at the beginning of the book that our female character, she has some debts owed, I guess you can say, that makes her kind of at the mercy of someone else. So when someone else is like, hey, I need you to go and infiltrate this company and get all of this information, I need you to do it kind of or else. And there's reasons why, and there's reasons of that like or else. I just don't want to say because I feel like it might be a spoiler, but basically she is supposed to go into this company, get close to the CEO, basically hack the system, get all this information, feed it to these other people, and then like get out without him knowing. Now, there is a caretaking scene that happens about like 30-40% of the way through where the CEO of the company, who is our main male character, starts to take care of our female character when she gets sick. And so she sees this like other side of him, right? She's like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I don't know if I want to keep putting him in this situation. Like, I feel so bad. Like, this is supposed to be her last job with these people, and then she's done forever, right? And so she gets to see this other side of him. He starts piecing things together little bit by little bit. And when he finds out what she's doing, how she's basically spying on him and getting all this information, he's like, you know what? Instead of putting you in jail, instead of making you go to prison, instead of doing all that stuff, I'm just going to marry you instead and force you to, you like literally illegally, you cannot say anything about anything that comes up that you know because you're my wife. And so it turns into one of those things where she is forced to marry him. And when I tell you, this story, the banter was so well done. The story was paced really, really well. While it is a very long book, I promise you the ending will pay off, and I really, really loved it. I loved how he kind of turns from this, ooh, I'm interested in her, to, oh my God, I hate her so much, I need to get my revenge on her. And then like while they're still being married, he's still trying to get the revenge of like, you know, not really having a actual marriage. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I think this is a new release that everyone should read, so definitely go check out that one. The next one I have is kind of a classic, and that's Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I mean, I feel like a lot of people have read this book. It's pretty straightforward, like right from the get-go, you can see that something is going on with him. Alex is like, I have this thing I need to do. He's kind of like, has a mission, I guess you can say, a motive for doing everything. But when everything comes out with this whole revenge plot, it happens about halfway through the book, maybe 60% of the book, and he grovels a lot, which is what I always love with a revenge plot type thing. They have to always grovel at the end. Well, mostly the main male characters have to grovel at the end, and that's probably why I like revenge plots so much. I think it's just because they have that, I gotta get her back type of thing. I made a mistake, I need to tell her, But this whole premise with this Twisted series is basically you have Alex. He is in charge of watching his best friend's little sister while he goes off and does like doctorish things in another country. And so he's like keeping an eye out on her. And I love the banter in this book. A lot of people, have their whatever they want to say about the Twisted series. I personally really enjoyed all of the books. And Alex is like a borderline, he's morally gray here, I'll just say that. This is like a borderline dark romance, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it that. They have some dark aspects. So I like to suggest the Twisted series if you haven't read it, and start with Twisted Love because it's really good. The next one I have is Forever After All by Katarina Mara. So this is one of my favorite Katarina Mara books. I like it because it is this marriage of convenience book where our female character has X, Y, and Z reasons for wanting to marry Alexander, who is this very, very rich guy. And, he has his reasons as well, but it's more of like a revenge type thing. And like, this is one of those books where she knows that he's trying to get revenge like right off the bat. So it's not like necessarily a surprise, but there is a little bit of groveling at the end because of certain things that happen throughout the book, and I personally really enjoyed this. I think Katerina Mara has a way of writing books that can be kind of similar, and for me, this one really stood out. I love how they met, like at a rooftop bar. She remembers him. He doesn't remember her from like childhood. He used to be really good friends with her brother. They kind of have this past aspect as well. I personally loved it. I think that this is, like I said, one of my favorite Katerina Mara books, and just from like that natural progression to when he proposes a marriage of convenience, she's like, I mean, I'm a fool to like not take this, you know what I mean? And I personally really enjoyed it. So had to mention that one because it's one of my favorites. Another one I have is actually historical, and that is Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. I always say with this Lisa Kleypas book, you really do get two love stories in one. That's really why I love this book so much. But basically this is a childhood friends, two enemies, two lovers. So there's, you go on a whole journey, okay? So basically our female character, she is the daughter of this really, I want to say she's a lady, but I think he holds a high position or whatever. And our main male character actually works in the household as kind of like a servant boy type of a thing. He obviously he's not titled at all. When the dad finds out that like they have a thing, like they like each other, found them kissing type of a thing, he's like, one, he thinks in his head, my daughter is going to be compromised. I need to get her out, right? And so basically he sits down with him and was like, I need you to leave. I'm going to send you to the States and I'm going to need you to like go away. And so he thinks that she was the one who told, and she is the one that wants to like send him away. So when he goes to the Americas, he meets this guy and he takes him under his wing and becomes a self-made man worth billions of dollars. Well, I shouldn't say billions. At the time, millions of dollars. And then when he goes back to England, he is basically there to show her like, look, you think I was nothing and now I have everything. Like, how does it feel? How does it feel? All these things like that, right? And he like comes to find that his revenge plan is like slowly falling apart because there's some things that he just didn't know. I personally really love this book. At the same time, that guy that took him under his wing and helped him into a self-made man, he also comes back and they have a little love story as well in this book. So this is an underrated Lisa Kleypas book that I absolutely love. So I'm definitely going to mention this one. The next two were two that I recently read. So the first one I want to talk about is Raw by Belle Aurora. So this was the Mystic Box edition. Very pretty, gorgeous. It comes with the second book too, which I'll talk about in a second. But basically in this book, you see our female character has a stalker. And that stalker turns out to be this very powerful man. He's like kind of in the underground, but kind of has a legitimate business. I wouldn't say it's a spoiler to tell you that's a revenge plot. But you figure out pretty early on that like he obviously feels this type of way, but he keeps saying like, I want to break her, I want to hurt her type thing. Like I want to make her pay. And you get those little things that throughout the book. And it's one of those things where you don't really find out anything until the next book, which is Raw Rebirth. And I will say that this one I really did enjoy. I loved how everything played out. I loved that he was kind of like tortured going back and forth from his past and the girl he knew, because they did know each other. You figure that out pretty early on too. They did know each other. Things have happened over his life for him to have these revenge ideas and want to get revenge on her. But you see in the second book, like all these reasons why it came out of why he kind of left his revenge alone and he didn't kind of proceed with it in this book. So while this is the Mystic Box editions, they are very good. I personally loved Raw more than I loved Raw Rebirth. You don't have to read them back to back, but it's I would suggest you do. Now, the last book I have to talk about is The Predator by Rune X. I am someone who finally read this book and I really enjoyed this. So that when I first started listening to this book, it gave me Ivan vibes by Sophie Lark. And it's one of those things where a female character is like put in a room with Tristan the Predator. I forgot his last name, but his like nickname is the Predator. And she's like, oh, I have to kill him. So she tries to, and he like captures her and is like, no. Just kidding. And it gives me very much vibes of Ivan because that's kind of how they meet too. She's sent to assassinate him. She is the daughter of like a rival family and he's part of the outfit. So it's kind of like this weird mafia dark vibe. Definitely dark. Very, very dark. His interest is piqued with her, right? And it's just one of those things where he's like, something's going on. You know what I mean? And so from that moment on, she like constantly goes back to him with things that start happening within the book. I'm being very vague because I don't want to spoil anything, but there is mentions of, like she asks his blood brother, Dante, oh, why, you know why he hates me. Or she asks, another person that comes into her life is like, oh, you know why he hates me. Why does he hate me? And she's like, it's not my story to tell. The person, you know, she asks. So it is really interesting the way things played out. And I personally did really enjoy it. It's a little bit on the longer side. The first half is definitely slow, but after that, things really start going. And I really, really enjoyed it. I love the chemistry. Like, Tristan is this very like morally gray character, but he's also like very quiet. He doesn't speak unless he really has something to say. And I personally just really enjoyed that dark mafia aspect because I haven't read that in a while, so I highly recommend that one as well. But those are all my revenge plot romance recommendations that I have to share with you. Make sure you check out McKay's video. I'll have it linked in the description box below. If you don't follow McKay already, definitely go follow her. Like, what are you doing? For the emoji for the video, ooh, what kind of emoji? I don't know about revenge. Do the skull emoji with the cross, the X behind it. McKay uses that emoji a lot when I text her, so yeah, definitely use that emoji. Drop them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content for me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.